ride together, we die together. Bad boys for life. Get busy living, or get busy dying.
You ain't first, last. Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
Welcome to Brews and Reviews with Mick and Pat. I'm Mick.
And I'm Pat.
And each week we sit down with you degenerates to pretend we're certified cicerones and cinephiles.
That is right. So grab a cold one and join us as we review River North Brewery's barrel-aged coffee stout, Nightmare Fuel, and the horror film Haunt.
And if you've been with us before, you know what time it is.
Release the Kraken!
Ooh. Wow. Look at that, dude. Wow, that is like pouring out literally melted liquid chocolate.
That is, yep, that's powerful. We've been drinking it out of the can, but now we're starting to become refined. We're drinking out of, glasses these days. Chilled glasses.
Well, and it all started because it started because I hated having all that floaty shit in my kombuchas.
Oh, yeah.
And I started getting Belgian beer that often has like the fermentation stuff still in at the bottom, and they say to pour it. So now I'm just kind of the mind that we need to be pouring.
This can is scary.
It's a pretty scary looking can, and I feel like pretty in vibe with the movie. What about you? Do you feel like a pretty fitting feeling on this can to what we watched?
No, certainly. They got the Halloween colors here,
mm-hmm.
and it's a orange skeleton holding a black mug of what looks like a ghoulish foam spirit drink.
Bro, if you hold that next to this head on the can,
yeah,
you can see the ghost spirits in the head of our beer.
Really?
Fun fact, Nightmare Fuel has canned ghosts in it. And they release as you kind of pour a good head on the beer.
Wow. That is that's some serious technology.
Would it kill you to sound a little more charismatic about my bits? Like, fucking hell, people are like literally in their car right now listening to your reaction, and they're just like, oh wow, dude, that was so bad even Pat can't fake it in the studio.
At first, because here's the problem, was for the first half I thought you were thought it was real, and then I realized that you were joking. And so
sometimes doing this podcast is like making love with a very lethargic partner who just lays there and doesn't do anything.
Oh man. Gosh. This Nightmare Fuel is a beer that is based off of another beer of the River North Brewery. They have a beer called the Sandman, and this is their coffee version or their juiced up version of it.
Okay.
And so on the can here, it says Coffee Imperial Stout, River North Brewery, Denver, Colorado, 11% alcoholic volume. And that's about it as far as information on the can. It's brewed with Logan House Coffee Company. So their Enter Sandman beer, it's has hints of coffee, chocolate, vanilla, and caramel in a moderately roasted stout. And this Nightmare Fuel barrel-aged Coffee Imperial Stout. I think they add more coffee into because it's their Mr. Sandman with a caffeine-loaded kick. And I wish they had on here maybe how many, is caffeine measured in milligrams? How many milligrams caffeine were in there?
Yeah, milligrams.
Yeah, but it doesn't have that on here. But we'll see. We're mixing our uppers with our downers. So
always a good recipe for
a good podcast.
It was a good podcast.
Till the end there.
Yeah. It was a good time. That was a good recipe for a good time when you were like sub 25.
Oh my gosh. Sounds like a heart attack. Potential heart attack. River North Brewery was founded in 2012 in the Rhino district of Denver. Rhino meaning River North. They said they were the first brewery to open in that area after Flying Dog had left there in 2007. So they took over the same space as that old brewery and started to get their business running. And they have since grown, and they have, I believe, 2 tap rooms where you can go enjoy down in Denver. And they have quite a few flagship beers, and then also it looks like some that they kind of rotate through. The Logan House Coffee Company, I was wondering if they're out of Colorado also.
I mean, I gotta imagine.
Yeah,
They're
they
like
are.
probably on the same street.
They're out of the Rhino district as well. So looks like a little local collab going on in Denver with their coffee and their beer.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, I haven't even taken a sip yet.
Yeah,
I really was waiting for the head to chill out.
Yeah, I took one, and it was good. It was strong.
Whoa. Whoa.
It keeps going. It gets a little sour, and then it's like you.
Dude, that feeling on my lips is very acidic.
Do you remember the first time you ate? It's called baking chocolate.
No, never done
What's
that.
it called? What's it called? Baking? Is it baking chocolate?
You're talking about just cocoa? Like just raw cocoa with no sugar?
Yeah, but when that comes in, so when they take the raw cocoa and turn it into bars, and it's for baking whatever stuff in, and you get that thing, and it looks like a candy bar.
No, I never had it in a
You
bar
had
form.
the scoop powder form,
Yeah,
but you've
yeah.
put that in your mouth before.
Yeah, it was awful.
Yeah, I guess
So
a kid,
nasty.
you're so ready for it. Like Hershey's cocoa powder.
You
Like,
sneak
let's
it.
go.
You sneak it, and you're just like, this is going to be the best thing ever.
And then
And it's just so bitter and nasty.
yeah, and you don't know what just hit your tongue. I'm getting that, not in a bad way. Now that am an adult with a more refined palate.
Dude, whatever is zapping off, it feels like there's a literal like electric spark coming off the tip of my tongue. I don't know if that's because I chewed some mints at church the other day and I cut my tongue on them.
So it's burning the.
I straight up
burning
did.
the-
Like I cut my tongue open just chewing on those mints.
Oh no!
Because when I spit my Zen later, my
Mhm.
spit was like ruddy.
Oh man!
And I tell you what, you don't feel that on the tip of your tongue. You
I
don't feel
do.
like you do like a zing.
I do. Yeah.
It's
Now that
very
you mentioned
battery
it.
acidy, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a little bit like you just licked a 9-volt.
Yeah, 100%. That is wacko. All right, you guys ready for swish test? We ain't got time to play around with a beer like this. All right, so you all know what to do. Take a sip, about a tablespoonful. Swish it around in the back of your mouth. Get it up and under and over the tongue, and then go ahead push it through your teeth to get it nice and foamy and aerated.
I don't know if I enjoyed that.
Whoa. Whoa. Oh. That took the spark thing,
Mm-hmm.
the zing, and it took it from the tip of my tongue to like all around, like literally the sides and the back of my tongue kind of zinged on that.
Just a whole new level.
I'm squinting. You're squinting.
Yeah.
Why are we squinting right now?
Well,
Ooh.
this kind of tastes like 3-day-old pot of coffee, and you scooped that baker's chocolate powder in there and mixed it around. Not that that's a bad thing, but that's kind of what
I mean, that sounds like a bad
it
thing.
sounds like a bad thing. But I'm trying to explain like the pungent intensity of the flavor.
It is a punch.
Yeah.
Like, and not like the same punch that I feel for sour beers.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I would say they both punch, but this is like a punch in a different way.
Yeah. Right to the uvula.
I tell you what, I could see it being something you would have on Halloween
Mm-hmm.
as a substitute to any of like the spiked punch and any of the sweet treats, because I cannot imagine being able to eat like candy and drinking this. I feel like I'd get nauseous really quick.
Yeah, that'd be too much going on in there. And I think that today's like the first really kind of like warmest day of this new spring season.
Mm-hmm.
And this, if it was kind of snowy out, I might be enjoying this more right now. You know, it's just that it's like you're eating a meal. You're drinking a meal when you drink this beer. It's hearty. You could live off this.
Yeah, imagine having this in the morning, like just one glass of this in the morning, and just like.
As I was saying, you pour this in your Cocoa Puffs, it might take care of that hangover for you.
Yeah,
it might make you throw
up.
No,
actually, this with Cocoa Puffs, I can imagine like if you're quick enough before the puffs get soggy. I can imagine that not being like the worst thing.
A little bit of caffeine, a little bit of alcohol. There you go. A little bit of Cocoa Puffs in your stomach. Soak up the stuff from the night before.
Ooh.
And then you
soak up the stuff right now.
Yeah, and then you start thinking about it too much. And you're kind of like, oh, I'm going to throw up. You're like, no, I'm not going to throw up. And then your mouth starts you start getting the warm spits.
And
mouth everybody
sweats.
knows once you get the warm mouth sweats in there, if you swallow it, you're committing.
Dude, sometimes I fight it off. Sometimes I fight it off.
You just lean over and spit it. Just let it come out. And you're just like, it'll pass.
I can honestly only fight it off if I'm actually in the bathroom looking at myself in the mirror.
You have to look at yourself like a motivational.
Like if I'm laying in bed and like I've laid in bed and now like the mouth sweats are coming. I know I'm gonna have to rush to the bathroom, and rushing to the bathroom is literally
makes it happen.
Yeah, but if I start feeling the mouth sweats, and I can like grab that sink and I can look at myself in the mirror and be like, "Don't you do it? Don't you do it? We were having a good time. You swear to me. Why'd you put us in this position?"
Oh man.
Oh dude,
And then when you actually have like the flu and it's been like the 10th time.
And like the 10th time you've thrown up, you mean?
Yeah, and you're really trying to like fight it off. But then you just decide to give in. Because all that your body has at that point is those little adrenaline rushes after you're done.
See, I just feel like I'm stronger at not throwing up when I'm sick. Not that I really fight it, because I'm kind of the mindset of like, dude, if my body
I pull the trigger.
If my body wants to throw up when I'm sick, I'm going to let it throw up.
Oh, yeah.
You're like, that's an appropriate response.
Mm-hmm.
But the amount of times I'm in my brain
and
I'm saying to my brain, the Zen isn't in the tummy. It's in the blood. It's in the bloodstream. Throwing up is not going to help us right now. Throwing up is just a knee-jerk reaction. And my brain's like, no, I think it's in the tummy. I think he swallowed it. I'm like, son of a bitch, don't you do it, because then I'm going to be just Zen tired, Zen dizzy, and nauseous.
Yep. Oh, yeah. You gotta have mental resolve.
Dude, the amount of, do you ever actually have those conversations with yourself where like you are actualizing your body and you're like, stop. I know what you're doing. It's not the right response.
Especially when I'm getting seasick. I get seasick real bad, so I have to
really.
And you got to mind over matter that thing.
Damn, bro, it's a bummer. I'm gonna have to get rid of your gift.
Yeah, you bought me a sailboat, a yacht.
No, I was just gonna take us out.
Bought me a captain's hat.
Shotgunning. For like the what's that bird up in Iceland?
Oh yeah,
not Iceland, but like
the puffin. Were they killing puffins?
Yeah,
up there? That's what they were getting.
We're gonna go puffin hunting, which you have to be on a boat for.
I could do it for a little bit, but those little dinghies on that water look rowdy. But anyways, this beer is a beer that
this is one of the beers of all time.
This is one of the beers of all time.
Echoing my thoughts on the movie,
and it is not for the faint of heart.
Yeah, I would. Here's the thing. I wouldn't drink this alone. Just like I wouldn't watch this movie alone.
Yeah.
In fact, I don't know if I'd drink this beer at night. I think this is a sunset beer.
This is a post-ski day beer.
Yeah, this is a beer like, I ain't got shit to do tomorrow. So, or no, this is I got shit to do tomorrow, so I need to get started early. Because if I drink this too late, the caffeine's going to get me feeling all kinds of weird and I'm not going to sleep well.
Yeah. I'm wondering what the mixture of these two chemicals is going to do to my body throughout the rest of these next podcasts.
I'm definitely like going to be real cautious on having any Zen tonight. This is like a beer that feels like, it's like, don't you dare mix me with anything else.
It's a jealous lover. Wants you all for itself.
Gosh damn, dude, that
Nightmare Fuel. I wonder if this gives you nightmares.
I'm trying to like rub my tongue against the roof of my mouth or my teeth to just get the numbing acid flavor off, because it's not a bad flavor, guys.
Right.
Hear me out here. It's not a bad flavor, right? But Pat, back me up. Isn't there like a numbing on the roof of your mouth and the top of your tongue?
It's bitter. It's that, and it's like bitter numbing.
Yeah, I feel like it's more than just bitter, man. I legit feel like the top of my tongue is numb.
Yep.
Maybe I'm having an allergic reaction.
Yeah, you just start swelling up.
I don't feel
it.
Just like Hitch.
It's funny because the first one's called Mr. Sandman,
Mm-hmm.
which Mr. Sandman's supposed to come to put you to sleep.
Mr. Sandman.
Yeah. And now this is the Nightmare Fuel. And I wonder.
I guess both of them are sleepy type.
Yeah, but I just wonder what this does to you.
Yeah, like just like some metal, like hard metal, death metal albums. They just like crack this and like they microwave it and they drink it warm before they go to bed.
They just go to sleep.
Yeah.
And they just dream of just horrifying things. Just no rest.
Yeah.
No REM sleeping. No REM cycle.
Ugh.
All right. I taste some of the flavors they described in there.
I definitely taste chocolate for sure.
Chocolate.
I definitely taste coffee.
A little bit of roasted. They just said roasted stuff and a little bit of vanilla.
Maybe.
But
I don't know if I taste the vanilla all that much.
I want to try the Mr. Sandman to know what's the kind of different. How intense is this coffee in here?
I legit think I'm having a full body reaction to this at this moment.
Yeah.
Like every swallow is kind of the mouth sweats numbing
Are all your
underneath my tongue.
Yeah, all your sphincters are sweating.
Smoke break.
Smoke break.
Hey, Ken, it's Mick, and I've got something important to talk about. We all hope we never find ourselves in a self-defense situation, but life's unpredictable. Enter the National Self-Protection Plan from Attorneys on Retainer, an actual credible law firm you can put on retainer for your self-defense needs. For just $35 a month, you get national coverage in all 50 states for criminal and civil legal representation in self-defense situations, complete with a 24/7, 365 toll-free emergency line. That's real legal support when you need it most. What's in the package? Bail bonds, scene cleanup, firearm replacement, even mental health counseling. Plus, zero fees for a laundry list of defense-related costs like expert witnesses. So support the show and get yourself some peace of mind. Click the link in our show notes or visit our sponsors page to sign up for the National Self-Protection Plan from Attorneys on Retainer.
Hey folks, Pat here. If you're like Mick and I, you're a fan of classic tales like Lonesome Dove, Blood Meridian, The Three-Body Problem, and Steinbeck's East of Eden. With Audible, you can dive into these epic stories anytime, anywhere. Sign up for a free month, and your first audiobook is on the house. To start your free trial and support our show, click the link in the show notes or swing by the sponsors page on our website.
Want an awesome website for your podcast? Check out Podpage. We use it for the Mick and Pat show, and it's a game changer. Set it up in minutes, no coding needed. Support the show by using our link to get started. Your podcast deserves a home as great as ours. Podpage, the one-stop solution. I'm not sweating yet, but you know, like when you're feeling the like need to throw up, and all like your things down here swell up, your tonsils almost or whatever.
Yeah,
you could like feel it filling up behind your molars. I'm getting that every time I swallow this beer.
We have to get a bucket in here.
I don't know, man. I think I can make it down the steps now that I've done it before.
All right. I'm glad we ate those slices of pizza before.
I know, dude. That seems like a raw mistake.
To eat before?
The pizza. Greasy, meaty pizza right before we drank this beer.
No, I feel like that's helping me.
Really?
Like, once it gets down to the stomach, it's just those big carbs are taking care of it. You know?
Is that what's going on?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. This is true. Because you're supposed
I think we're built different.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think you're built a little bit more. Stomach is a steel trap, and my stomach is more like a French
an immersion blender.
Yeah, I don't know, not immersion blender, but what's the people who review food, like the French people that review food? It's like it's not sommelier, it's not cicerone.
Assholes.
Yeah, assholes.
What are they called?
My stomach is a French asshole. And he's very picky about what he likes to eat, dude, and what I mix down there.
That's funny.
Alrighty, rate it, Pat. Let's go.
We're coming off
fucking around.
I know. So last week we had our first ever 4 thumbs up, 2 thumbs up from both of us beer, and it was in the similar family of this one.
Yeah,
and so now we're following it.
It was a barrel aged whiskey.
Yep. Yep.
Stout,
and
but not coffee.
Correct. It might have had a little bit of. Maybe not.
Just to be fair, so people don't forget.
Yeah.
Just because it's got a 4 thumbs doesn't mean it's our favorite beer. Okay,
Right.
guys? It's just the first one that was that good.
It was a good one. So we're following. This one's following that one up. So I'm like, I'm leaning all the way towards a 1 thumb down.
Really?
Yeah. Because I know that other one exists, and then like even like a beer like Sad Panda, I might rather have over this.
Here's the thing: are you gonna drink the rest of this if it's a 1 thumbs down? Like, I feel like 1 thumbs down should be like optional to toss it out.
1 thumb down is like I'm gonna finish my beer. Two thumbs is like
I fucking paid for it, so I'm gonna drink it, but I ain't getting another one.
Yeah, 2 thumbs down is like I don't think that many people will like
2 thumbs
thing.
down is I haven't finished anything. I gave 2 thumbs down.
Mm-mm.
I've always passed it off.
Mm-hmm. And then I drink it. But I think I'm giving this one 1 thumb down.
Yeah, I just think about all the beers I gave a no thumbs to, and I'm like, it's not fair to those for me to give this a no thumbs.
Yeah.
Because am I ever gonna buy this again?
Yeah.
No.
Maybe not even for a Halloween party.
No.
The packaging didn't sway you.
No, dude. I know Halloween party is gonna be really hot and sweaty and humid,
dude.
and I'm not gonna want to drink this at that. So there's literally gonna be like the taste and smell of like the smoke machine, and I think that taste and smell might make me yak.
Yeah.
Only having had half a can. So with that, Nightmare Fuel, it's not a bad taste, but everything about it combined is I don't know, man. If turpentine tasted like this, I'd say the same thing. I'd be like, wow, not a bad taste, that turpentine, but sure is making my tongue numb.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I feel about this.
Yep. 'Cause I just feel like I've had better options out there.
I feel like this was definitely and no smoke to River North Brewery, because I feel like I've had some beers from them that I enjoyed, but this is definitely like one of those beers that feels way more in the line of what if we could, and not a whoa, but should we?
Right.
Should we do that? Should we put a, gosh, what do you think it is? A espresso shot worth of caffeine with beer?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that
maybe if it wasn't barrel aged,
they might only toss this out at Halloween time.
Oh, did these get released around Halloween times?
They were canned on September.
Gotcha.
So I wonder if they put these out it's like beginning of winter season, whatever. And so if we hadn't had that last one last week that was really, really dang good, I might give this a no thumbs, but I'm going 1 thumb down on this guy.
Yeah, I think it is also just in the shadow of the rebound,
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like,
but maybe we need to try the Mr. Sandman at some point to see the, how different is it? What's the deal?
That said, I'm not going to say it's a bad beer.
Right.
I'm just going to say it's not remotely for everybody.
Yep.
So if you like it, that's awesome. Let us know. Give us your thoughts. Give us your opinions. Tell us we're little bitches for making weird faces on camera while we drink it. And if you're listening,
Untapped isn't going to like us, dude.
Why?
Untapped people out there, they're giving it a 4.07
I know.
out of 5.
I did see that.
And you know what? Out of 2,700 ratings. But you know what? One of the things is it unique? Yes.
100%.
So other things are unique too. That's all I'll say.
Yeah. Like an enema.
Yeah. This might be a good enema choice. if you're getting into if you've been in the coffee enema,
if you want to play around,
if you've been in the coffee enema space for a while, and that's how you start your mornings, if you're trying to relax in the evenings,
if you boof your breakfast, this is it.
Yeah,
this is it. This is how to wake up and feel calm, but also energized.
You will feel it.
Oh yeah. Good flavors. Not a big fan of all of it combined. 1 thumb down from Mick. 1 thumb down from Pat. There you have it. That is our 2 thumbs down. Which again, it's not this beer shit. We're never calling beer shit unless it actually is shit and it gets a 4 thumbs down. Then it's shit, and no one's gonna want to drink
garbage.
This. But 2 thumbs down just means we don't think it's going to be for the majority of people, not most people's cup of tea, and it's probably a unique time of the year beer, which maybe that's what we should have just been thinking of it as from the get-go. But anyways, it does, I think, though, play in very nicely with the movie we watched today, and we are viewing this show called Haunt. And this is the 2019 Haunt. There's apparently a film by the same name that came out in 2013. So not to be confused. But Haunt, as a overhead synopsis, we have a classic Halloween movie here. Again, what the fuck is up with us picking Halloween shit? It's, I don't know, close to the spring solstice-ish.
Yeah.
Whatever. Essentially, I just felt like it was time that Pat just got dealt a scary movie to watch, since he hasn't ever watched one. I mean, he considers Morbius a scary movie. So I just figured if we're going to really call ourselves cinephiles, we need to review every kind of genre. And I'm a big horror film fan. I had heard a good buzz about Haunt recently. It seems like it's kind of a late bloomer, getting late attention. Didn't really get all that much focus when it first came out. And I wanted to be ahead of the curve a little bit, and kind of check it out before other people bandwagoned. And it is very much your, I would say, stereotypical premise. And when I say premise, I use that word very loosely, as like
a group of individuals is partying, and then they decide to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
And then it turns bad for them. And when they split up, it gets even worse.
All right, all my horror fans out there, you can tell how novice he is by how just...
No, that's a pretty standard, though.
That was.
That's pretty standard.
I would be a little bit more specific when I say classic premise.
Yeah.
Female lead with trauma.
Yep.
Somewhat ostracized from friends. Dragged to have fun. Dragged out of comfort zone, becomes a little bit of voice of reason before shit hits the fan. And with that, essentially the real premise, description from the movie is, on Halloween, a group of friends encounter an extreme haunted house that promises to feed on their darkest fears. The night turns deadly as they come to the horrifying realization that some nightmares are real. And it is directed by Scott Beck and Brian Woods, who also wrote the film. And first, a little bit of trivia here, just to get it out of the way. They co-wrote this while co-writing A Quiet Place. And when they were writing both these scripts, they didn't think either of them would get picked up. And I think that's just kind of what a lot of writers do when they're starting out, is like they just find a dude who's like, hey, man, half the work if we write these together. And then they kind of spin out on all these different ideas. And they're like, well, that's just another script. And they just keep doing that and keep writing and writing and writing. And eventually they have 36 scripts. And like, they're just praying to God one gets picked up.
Yep.
Fortunately for them, several I know have gotten picked up. They're kind of making a name for themselves in Hollywood. Film stars Katie Stevens, Will Britton, and a gaggle of other people you're not going to really recognize. I did do some research, and it seems like a lot of the people who played the scary guys in this also were cast together on other films where they played the scary guys as a group. So it kind of seems like a scary guys stick together in Hollywood. And they're like, Oh yeah, me and I don't know, one of these other guys. Me, Justin, and Schuler and Justin, two Justins here. We were all in Haunt together. We'd love to be your hillbilly cannibals.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, oh yeah, get on.
Mm-hmm.
So it seems like that's kind of a little bit of a vibe going on here. But this is definitely a movie. And it is definitely one of those movies that feels like it was made out of the surplus of money that another project succeeded with. And I wonder if this movie, because it did come out after the first A Quiet Place. And I wonder if this is a movie that they kind of made, because they wrote it and directed it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this is something that they might have done with the money they made from A Quiet Place.
And it gave them a shot, I think, at directing their own film. Like they were writers. They proved themselves as writers.
Yeah.
And now they were able to get funding for.
We can write stuff people like.
Mm-hmm.
Which also, side note, John Krasinski
Mm-hmm.
is often taking the credit for writing A Quiet Place.
Mm.
And I was like, I don't know if he just wrote that all on his own. Turns out he didn't, which I kind of wish was made a little bit more clear. Because he definitely directed it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think a lot of people, maybe he hasn't claimed it, but I think a lot of people attributed that he like wrote the film too. Anyways, Harper, played by Katie Stevens. She was in 2 TV series where she was, I think, a mainstay on them. She was in them for a ton of episodes, The Bold Type and Faking It. And then Nathan, played by Will Britton. He was most recently in the Kong Skull Island film, just in a bit role. I don't think many of these actors and actresses have seen much success outside of this film. I'm not surprised. The acting wasn't a strong suit for sure.
It felt like, if you grabbed like this,
there was moments of good stuff.
Yeah, but for the most part, if you went to like any college, and like picked out their like top 6 theater kids, you could get this movie done with them.
Yeah, I'll be honest. Here's the thing that blows me away. I've seen better actors from people who never had a day of acting in their life.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I know that may sound pretty harsh, but like if you've watched this movie, spoiler alert, we're going to get into spoiler territories. If you've watched this movie, you're not like, you understand what we're saying. Not the worst acting, but it certainly like wasn't anything to write home about. The writing though, Pat, writing of this film, it felt to me, granted I went in without really looking up much other than just seeing that it had positive reviews on Rotten Tomatoes and stuff.
Yeah.
People saying it was a good fun time, not to expect more than what it is.
Right.
The writing felt like I might have gotten 3 movies kind of minced together.
Because I feel like there was all this potential depth that they didn't pull all the way through. Like
go into details. Potential depth with what specifically?
Yeah, so like even like
spoiler alert.
How it's described in the front here, like would be this turns deadly as the horrifying realization that some nightmares are real. And each person kind of voices a couple. Each of them voice like their own nightmares a little bit at the beginning, and
only
so like only barely.
I can only think of one person who said, "My fear of spiders."
Right. So her fear of spiders, but then Harper's like her whole thing wrapped around like her dad being like the abusive stuff, like, and so I feel like they could have, if they had more development around the characters. Even little things, they could have actually like, it would have been even scarier if like as they went into some of these things, they were built for them. Which maybe that's too sawy, No,
but I get what you're saying too, because I going in was like expecting some fucking brutal gore, just like the vibe I was feeling. I was like, none of these people are famous enough or successful enough to be like in their contract, you can't rip my face off.
Yeah.
You can't have a scene of my face being caved in. And the first couple deaths were pretty PG-13. You know what I mean? Like compared to other shit I've seen. And I was like, okay, so are we just going to get kind of a slasher film here? But then there was, as the film progressed and the deaths got real brutal,
Mm-hmm.
and then it became like each of these people running the haunted house
Mm-hmm.
removed their mask and showed these extremely deformed faces with various levels of scar tissue healing, various levels of subdermals and tattoos
And mutilation stuff.
I started getting a premise feeling of like, oh, these people have an agenda
Mm-hmm.
other than just killing slasher
Mhm.
stuff, and that they're gonna have some kind of, you know, pentagram on the floor.
Right. And that's where another part where I thought the writing didn't pull all the way through was they had the line they said 2 or 3, maybe 5, maybe 8 times was let's show me your face, or let's see your real face.
Mm-hmm.
From the kids said it like once or twice to like a person with a mask on, but really mostly then it was like the idea I think was like that, like these creepy dudes had like really had put who they really were in their hearts out on their face.
Mhm.
These scary, nasty faces.
Mm-hmm.
And so they kept saying that to other people, let's show me your real face. But in fact, they didn't like that. I think that is actually a pretty powerful premise of like, let's see your face, because we hide all these things away,
Yeah.
but they never actually they never got anybody to show their real face. To totally lose themselves in like, cause I feel like for them, they should, and something like that would be to like get one of those kids should have been like a potential psychopath, and they actually showed themselves as this like unhinged individual or like that sort of thing. Like that. I feel like they said it enough times, but they didn't really do anything with it. It was the last line of the whole movie.
Well, I kind of was wondering if there'd be too many things going on in the movie. Her trauma from the boyfriend, and her boyfriend Sam, ex-boyfriend Sam, trying to come and rescue her, maybe.
But also maybe gonna kill her that night.
Maybe
way.
he was gonna, maybe he was planning on killing her that night, but now
Mhm.
he's like kind of pulled in a maneuver where he's like, or I can rescue her.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of expected his face to be revealed, and like I expected something to happen where he's chasing her in the house,
Mm-hmm.
and I expected there to be like points where like we're like, oh my god, these people running this house are horrifying. They're
Mhm.
terrifying. They're not human. They've devolved or ascended beyond humanity, and now
Mhm.
they're like something else. You know, like
Mm-hmm.
their psychology and literally their appearance is beyond what a human should be.
Right.
And then also this like fucking just unhinged psychopath boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I was hoping there'd be times where he
You're
is
hiding from both of them.
where she's trying to hide from them, but like he trying to find her in the haunted house comes across like traps or something like
Mhm.
that, where he has to essentially like deal with some of these guys, like
Mhm.
one or two of them,
Yeah.
and he just fucking murks them, dude.
Right.
But like in the process, his face literally gets like peeled away or
Right.
burned off, right?
Right.
And so like he starts looking just like one of them,
Mm-hmm.
and then you know she murks his ass at the end or
Right.
something, right?
And where we either feel like he deserved to die more or didn't deserve to die more.
I mean, there's
because-
no redemption.
Yeah, because he just either way, like he just walks in and he just shows up and gets killed
But I'm saying like there's no way I think that they ever could have won us over,
with him. No, they
because
couldn't.
in the beginning they're like he beats her.
Yeah, but they had to go one way or the other with
Yeah.
that character either way.
Yeah.
You know, like either he found his humanity in it, like because he sees how screwed up people are, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
But or in a horror movie, just have him become one of them as he like, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But like, and he just is like,
He just gets fucking bricked.
yeah, he's just he got bricked.
He
Dude.
shows up and gets bricked.
Yeah,
dude.
just nothing.
I think I almost think it would have been better. Like I
Mhm.
don't think people need to have necessarily as much dialogue as a lot of writers or directors think they need to.
Yep.
I think it would have been insane if like he's chasing her throughout this haunted house
Mm-hmm.
and he actually does redeem himself,
Mm-hmm.
and you and I as audience members are like, we have an unsettled stomach with
but
we're
he's
like
a woman beater. But
yeah,
can he
like
be good?
we're like no, we're just like, oh, I fucking hate that. I kind of feel bad for him,
Mm-hmm.
and like because he's a piece of shit. But like I
Right.
thought it would have been sick if something happened along the lines of like essentially he's just always trying to get to her,
Right.
and then in the final moments he realizes like I'm not getting out of here alive,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not going to get an opportunity to tell her last words of like, hey, I'm a fucking asshole, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
But like literally just like steps in front of like, I don't know, fucking chainsaw
Mm-hmm.
and just chainsaw through his like collarbone to sternum.
Right.
And then he goes down. Right.
Right.
And like for a moment, we're all shocked. We're like, did he just step in front of that for her?
Mm-hmm.
And then there's just like, there's no time for her to grieve over him. And there's no like last choking words of him like, I love you and I'm sorry for being a dick.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just like, hey, that's how it happens. Sometimes people have a single moment where they do one redeeming thing.
Mm-hmm.
And afterwards, we're still like, wow, that was redeeming and that actually had value.
Yeah.
But man, I still fucking hate you.
Right.
And I kind of wanted something like that.
Me too.
But I was asking for too much because there's 3 movies in one.
There's
because
lots going on.
it never commits to the supernatural premise.
Right.
But there is definitely leaning in that direction in the beginning. Like with the way the light just turns on in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Like we don't see any signs from them inside that they had cameras set up and were watching the road trying to attract people.
Right.
And there's just certain things that play out very supernaturally.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think like there's a couple things where like people really do move places and spots
Mm-hmm.
throughout the haunted house. And then I just kept on expecting a final like culmination, like especially with the witch character. I
Yeah.
feel like she was pretty underutilized.
Because she was scary at first.
At first, like you realize, like you're the first. She's the first thing you see, and you're like, "This
Mhm.
isn't a bit.
Yeah.
Like this isn't a performance."
Mm-hmm.
And I just kind of was hoping they'd really commit to that one. There were, and I
Mhm.
guess like some of the traps in the end, like especially when she's trying to find the key in that like
Mhm.
room that's kind of set up like a young girl's room.
Mm-hmm.
I just kept on feeling like there was a presence of like prior victims.
Right.
Like with the scratching on the walls, like it seemed like it wasn't as much initially. It didn't seem as much as it was like tricks by them, like
Mhm.
things placed around by them, but more of a like past victims culmination of knowledge to try to get you out of here and get you to succeed.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know, man. I really did want it to be some kind of final like satanic ritual
Mm-hmm.
or elder evil,
Mm-hmm.
but because it still like Pat, why were they doing it?
Right.
Were they just slashers?
Yeah, because besides the fact that
Were they
like,
just fucking sickos?
yeah, because even if they weren't like, even if it wasn't like a satanic ritual thing, if it was just something that was bigger than that one little instance, like a couple freaks found that like band together and all of a sudden decided to do
Yeah.
this versus like
fucking dude with subdermals is like, you know what'd be sick this Halloween? If we fucking killed some kids.
right right instead of this being like something that like people are groomed up into and people
Yeah.
are like it's a thing that's been going on for a while
Yeah.
and there's been stories of why did these kids disappear type of stuff
Mhm.
with also then like and even like maybe some of the kids who disappeared but became these
These
subhuman
things, yeah, they groomed them.
too.
I
Yeah.
kept on thinking too that there might be a plot where she gets groomed.
right
Like, so, like I thought they might give her an opportunity to have at it with her ex
Mm.
and use that rage and anger to like kind of groom her into joining them.
Mhm.
All right, because I know it sounds like we're kind of a little bit dishing on it, but bro, I
Mhm.
gotta be honest, man. I have not for the kin out there who are wondering and listen to us wondering if like we have any real taste in horror. Pat is not a big horror guy. Pat, would you say how many horror movies do you actually go out of your way to watch each year rather than just being kind of dragged into?
These days
You got kids, you got a wife.
probably none. Even like for myself, I stopped watching them a long time ago.
A long time ago. So
But
Pat,
I've probably seen like 60.
60? Okay.
So like like
Hey, that's a high number
like,
of horror movies, dude.
like I've seen a lot, but that was at a certain time, like high school.
Do you have one that you can recall as being the scariest thing that you ever watched? Like it actually like scared you to your bones.
I don't know why it got me so bad, but Alfred Hitchcock,
The Birds?
not The Birds. Psycho,
Psycho?
dude. Psycho I saw it when I was 14.
Yeah.
And it just was very. I think it's all the reasons why people say it's like, a classic, or like, he's the father of horror movies, is like it's just played on these on all these different deep rooted scary things. So it just like, and because it's not that scary as far as like if we like told it around, if I told you the story right now, you'd be like, that's just a weird story. But when you watch it, it just affected my insides.
It's definitely a movie that is like 100% to its bones, like to its core, less is more.
Yeah.
And like shooting black and white, guess what? We can do so much more with that very limited color palette and get away with it. That was like the first time, like that movie was the first time where like there were actual questions of like, is that too much blood? Is that gratuitous blood? And Alfred Hitchcock had to like tell people like, it's chocolate sauce. It's literally Hershey's chocolate sauce that we just sprayed onto the bathroom floor.
Right.
And it's just like one of those things you're like, damn, that did look like blood though. Like my brain totally made that blood.
Yep.
That is a great movie. Anyway, but that's a good one. That's a good one.
And so for the old ones get to me, dude. There's one with, I don't even know the name of it, but there's one where this lady gets put in an Iron Maiden. It's an old black and white movie.
Oh, really?
It's black and white movie, and
it's not a black and white scene from Sleepy Hollow with Johnny Depp?
No, yeah, I'm sure, because it's old. It's like it's like in that Hitchcock era.
Interesting.
And this lady gets put in an Iron Maiden, and this creepy dude hits it closed with a hammer, with a giant sledgehammer. And
hey, Ken, if you know what that is, let us know.
Yeah, I can't remember what the name is, but it just disturbed me, man. And so then those ones, I'm trying to think of some, and then lots of the horror movies though I started to see like were just kind of like, I don't know. I think I kind of watched a lot of them for a while, so I just was. Mostly it was like mixed company, high school, and you're just trying to like hold a girl's hand on the couch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I found that there's so many that like make you want to snore and just go to sleep. You know what I mean? Like there's just a lot of, very mediocre horror out there, especially like I feel like in the like 2007 through 2012.
Yeah.
It was just such mediocre sleep zone horror movie. Like there was good thrillers, but an actual horror movie. Like I remember seeing the Possession of Emily Rose, or the Exorcism of Emily Rose.
Right.
Oh, dude, that one just sucked dick. Like after hearing how big of a deal The Exorcist was, and like being just mortified when I watched it, and like just thinking like, if those things are real, they could literally be like, there's no rules. They could be literally chasing me in this car right now. And my mom had like, picked me up from a friend's house and was driving me home. And I was like, if I look out the windows, what if I see them? What if I see a reflection of them? Right. And then The Exorcism of Emily Rose was just so bad. It was so bad. Yeah. And I mean, and that's my thought of it when I was in like 6th grade. Right. But anyways, this movie, I think, as someone who loves horror, someone who tries to watch a horror film once a week, maybe like once every other week, just because I'm married and it's hard to get the wife on board. I crave feeling scared, and I try as much as I can to give any movie as I'm giving it, like starting to try to give it a shot. I'll try to hype myself up, breathe really intense, hyperventilate a little bit, just to try to get my brain going and to get my eyes kind of in like a flight or fight mode. And I try to enter every horror movie like that. And I'll say this, there are some that really did a good job and delivered on that for me in the last couple of years. Barbarian and Smile are two that I think of that really did a good job. Hereditary did a great job of like being a very enjoyable, unnerving, just lingered in my brain afterwards horror film. It Follows was a good one. And this one I think is up there.
Yeah. I
genuinely think this movie was a good horror just for the reactions it provoked in me in a day-lit room. I had to watch it in preparation for the show tonight, and I was just like, I'm gonna do everything I can to give it a good shot. I'm gonna close the blinds. I'm gonna lay on my bed. I'm gonna close the door. I'm gonna leave the window open though, so that way the blinds rustle and stuff. Like I try to do everything to like get the mood right. And dude, there were a couple times in this film that I lost my shit. That like I like straight up was just looking at my phone, and I just was like holding, I was holding my spit cup with some Zin in. I was just like in the back, I'm like, no, fuck no. Like, and I don't know about you, man, but I feel like I hope that we kind of have a couple of those that were similar. And for our kin out there, I hope we touch on some of yours, because I want to give a moment to credit those, because I do think this movie, it feels maybe that it was shot over the course of like a couple of years or something, where it was like the first couple scenes were just like, we just don't have that much money. And then the next couple scenes were like, hey, we have more money. We can like go way more with the special effects. Because there really wasn't CGI that I can think of. I can think of like some really great special effects. Like there were some head swaps that I was like, I don't know how they swapped that head, because that looked like that looked real.
Yeah.
The hand swaps were really on point too. Yeah, it was pretty good. I think the first one that really stuck out to me was definitely the arm scene, where they're putting their arms in the tubes and reaching. And bro, dude, my anxiety was through the freaking roof as soon as I saw those 3 holes in the wall. I knew without a doubt, I was like, there's razor blades in one of those, and someone's gonna get their arms razor bladed.
Yeah, I thought someone was gonna come out without a finger.
Oh, like some bit of finger off.
Yeah,
on the other side?
yeah. Like I thought it was gonna be like screaming and then come out with a finger gone.
What was your adrenaline level at that point? Like as soon as you see the premise, as soon as you see like they're gonna have to put their arms in those dark holes.
Because also it hadn't started getting serious yet.
No.
So we were just waiting because we know it's gonna get serious. So it's like, when's it gonna start? There was a couple opportunities before, like the coffin scene had already happened.
The coffin scene was a good fake out, but that was also one of the ones where I was like, this is supernatural, isn't it? Because the spiders.
Right.
The spiders clearly fall on her.
And there were no spiders when they opened it.
Yeah.
So it's like, was that bad movie-ing or?
I thought it was a supernatural reference of like paranoia, fear that this place is causing.
Right. I thought when I saw no spiders come out with her, that's what I was thinking too. And then they mentioned the girl's claustrophobia, the main girl's claustrophobia.
Yeah.
And they never really played on that again.
She already had too much baggage.
Yeah. So, but the coffin scene, I would thought like we were just going to hear like nasty stuff happening in there. And so but nothing happened. But then the spiders happened, but nothing really scary happened as far as like harm.
It made my skin crawl a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it did that because they showed footage of real spiders. And I had gone through those things in the haunted houses, like those web walkthroughs. And I just don't do spiders, man. Yeah. I don't do them one ounce.
Really?
Nope. And so like when I saw the real spiders in that, and they were just like not taking that shit seriously, they're like, oh my God, is that a real spider? And it showed a real fucking spider crawling on that chick's hair. And I was like, no, not in a million years would I be okay. I would have turned around right there and gone home. I would have left my friends. I honestly would have driven home and
got out of there.
Yeah.
But when they get to the holes now, because like now a couple things have happened where they could have gotten hurt and they didn't. And so the holes are like, it's happening at the holes though. But then it doesn't. Your trust
in the horror movie is kind of shaken, right?
Right. But then it's like it doesn't happen at the holes.
Yeah.
Because all 3 of them do it. But then she has to go back in.
Yeah.
And then
it's that follow up.
But then she comes out again. And then he goes in, then fakes her out. And so like you're just like, oh, it's gonna be him now? Like
I thought he was gonna get it.
Yeah.
Like I thought he was gonna be early charismatic guy death.
Yep, I thought they might the guy.
The guy.
From Spy Kids 3D.
I don't remember that.
It's a great scene where they're searching for the guy. That's his title the whole time. And he shows up and he just gets killed off right away.
Oh, really?
It's a pretty great scene for a kid's movie. But anyway, so yeah, I thought he was going to get it too, maybe. And then, yeah, when she pulled her hand out, though, like the cuts on the arm were like kind of gross to me and scary. But I thought a finger was needed to be gone.
I think the idea for me of just like that, like razor blade fine edge cut of like, you don't know how deep that is.
Yeah.
And like, it clearly disabled her. Like the rest of the movie, she's pretty much done. You know, she's pretty pale and just ambling around. What was the next one for you? The next one that like really made you go like elicited a response.
The chainsaw slide.
Oh yeah,
because I was like,
I did have anxiety
because I was
you
like,
could hear it.
Because okay, so for me, so the razor blade scene's already happened,
Mm-hmm.
and then this slide comes up, and there was once a legend at the local water park as a kid. And I think every water parks have this legend. You know the really steep, long slides,
Yeah.
that you like get zero gravity on.
Yeah.
There was a legend that a freak one time snuck in there, and he'd stuck razor blades on
Yeah.
that,
And it'll just slice
and it
you
just
open.
sliced kids open.
Yeah.
And so in my mind, I was thinking of like that with a chainsaw at the bottom, and you had to like time it right. Oh, here's the other reason. One thing I think they missed on the writing piece was they had this really important thing in the waiver that was like, you must follow the rules. Love what we say, and they never gave them any instruction.
Well, I was gonna say they said they had to stick to the path.
Yeah,
I thought the path was gonna be way more outlined.
right. The path, and then also like I thought they were gonna have more direction, and like people at some point were gonna be like, they were gonna be like, do it this way, and then they wouldn't do it that way, and they'd pay for it.
Yeah,
but they never did that again. So that's what I thought that like. So
it's
I was
kind of
still
Saw premise almost.
Yeah, so I was like thinking through that. So with the those chainsaw sounds coming and then stopping, coming and stopping, I was like, do you have to time the slide right, or else you come out like the razor blade kids in the slide, but with a chainsaw? And so I thought that Chunk, that's what I call him. What was his name in this? The character's name was Evan.
Evan, yeah.
But you know, the pudgy comic relief
Totally redeemed himself.
Yeah, I thought he was gonna split up the spine.
Ooh.
I thought he was gonna get golden eagled.
Yeah, I did. I kept expecting, even when they got down there and he shoves the chainsaw guy.
Yeah,
I was like, dude, that chainsaw guy is gonna just take off some backbone.
And we talked about this in Puss in Boots, where bad guys who have rules are scarier than bad guys with no rules.
Yeah.
And these bad guys had no rules. And they stated rules in the front. So that's why I thought they were scary, when it's like when he pushed that guy.
But we had no rules that we knew what they were following.
Right. But I mean, even in the beginning, what was laid out was don't touch any of the people don't touch any of the workers, follow the instructions for your safety. But then none of that really actually mattered because they're going to die anyways. Whereas like when Pudgy Comic Relief pushes Chainsaw Guy, I was like, oh, he just signed his death warrant.
We need rules.
Which I think he was dead anyways.
Yeah.
But like, but yeah, so
I get what you're saying.
That scene got me a little bit going. And I really actually liked the nice ghost guy for like, he's just like, oh, you need help. And like these kids are like maybe
subverted.
Yeah. And it's just like, but here's why I can't do any horror movies anymore ever, is because of, it's like, maybe it's the rule. It's the rules. I have like Pat's 4 rules for staying alive in a horror movie. Never leave a weapon behind.
Yeah. Right.
Because it's like literally a cardinal rule in horror movies. You got to leave the weapon behind for some reason. Other one, kill them all the way when you get a chance to. Like number 3, don't be attractive, but not too attractive.
So girl next door attractive.
Yeah, because like you gotta be like attractive enough that you survive, but don't be like hot and slutty. You're toast.
Yeah, there's a comedian, female comedian who has a bit like that. She's like just talking about how she always was envious of the super hot slutty girls, because she was always just kind of like Mormon hot, like she just looks a little too baby face and a little too innocent. And so she's always like, I love horror movies because that's the only place those hot slutty bitches get exactly what they deserve. The rest of the movies, they just have all the success. And I thought that was funny. But like that is 100% true in horror movies. Is like, if you're the hottest stud, with the biggest dick,
you got a good chance.
No, I think the hottest stud with the biggest dick is dead in the bathroom.
I think it's 50-50.
Yeah,
because he's either like he's the hero, or you get die early.
I think it's the second hottest guy is the hero.
Yep, that's true. And the other thing is never split up. Everybody's always like, let's split up again. Yeah. We're dying. Here's the scene where I started, my palms got sweaty. When they peeled Chubby Comic Release Guy's face open.
Dude, they put the hammer in his fucking mouth, and the sound his teeth made when that hammer touched his mouth. I was like, that I've heard that sound. just as like joking when I was working on stuff or something like that, someone would like joking as a bit, like kind of do something with their hammer and like joke like they're gonna pull one of their teeth out or something like that. And I've heard the calcium tooth resin on bone. I mean on a hammerhead.
Yeah.
And it's got that very distinct like chunk. And dude, when they put the hammer in his mouth and I heard that sound, I was like, oh wow, that's exactly it.
I was like, oh gross, they're gonna rip his teeth out.
I was like,
no, they're ripping his face off.
I was like, that actor is straight up committing, because that is teeth on hammer set.
Yeah. Don't sneeze.
And then they like cut and they don't show exactly like a pry leverage. Yeah. It's just a yanking the face up off. And like when they go back to it, I just legit, I was watching it with the headphones in on my phone, because I didn't watch it on the TV, because the TV we have skylights. Mm-hmm. The skylights are just so bright.
It's too bright.
Can't see the TV. And so I was just like in the bedroom on my phone with the headphones in, and I know people outside could hear me because my window was open.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh fuck, no, they didn't. Oh man, dude, I just like legit, like I felt like my socks, I shot out of my socks, right? You know, like that's how much I didn't squirm.
I did not like that part because also it was
come on, bro, you didn't like it? That's the most visceral part.
I know. I
loved it.
Yeah, it engaged me.
Oh yeah,
it engaged me. I did not like it, but it engaged me. And and because they did a cut scene, they didn't show him die.
They like cut back and he's fucking dead.
Yeah, but then you're like, oh, and then it's like, oh, that's why they were saving it.
They have
for
more
the
planned.
freaking horrible stuff, dude.
Dude, I think, gosh, dude. Oh, you know how I could tell they wrote A Quiet Place? Because they put another woman stepping on a nail.
Oh yeah,
they're like, hey, that worked really well. The Quiet Place, like that was a good squirmy bit. How about we put it in this movie? You could tell they probably wrote them side by side, and they're like, Scott looks over. He's like, hey, guess what? I just put a scene in here where the main character chick, she steps back onto a nail out of fright, and then you could tell like the other guy's like, oh, interesting.
Yeah,
and like just like quickly adapts that scene in A Quiet Place or whatever. I just don't do nails going through appendages.
I gotcha.
Yeah, because I've had nails like on sites I was working at, like go into like my ankle or like kind of just like the more fattier bits, like in my thigh or in my forearm, and like pulling it out, not have actually had a lot of blood,
right?
But it's just like the actual appearance of seeing like that thing.
And
it, like the way it like kind of wobble legs, you know, like you move your arm and it kind of like,
yeah.
I was just like, I see that and I'm just like, I can't do it, bro. And so like when she steps onto that nail, I was like, oh my god, it was so nasty for me.
Yep, and they made a good job of making that look and feel way worse than it actually is in real life too. Like, like it doesn't take all of your might to pull your foot off a nail.
No.
But in this scene, you're just like, it's excruciating to watch.
Yeah.
Now, what got me worse, dude, was the hands.
Oh, on the glue.
On this glue.
I wanted to ask you, what kind of fucking glue is that?
I don't know.
I need that glue.
I need that for my construction work.
I'm shit I could use that glue on.
I know, dude. Yeah.
Straight up, like, it remains, what would you refer, not ductile, but like, it remains gooey.
Yeah.
With air. Like it doesn't dry out. And immediately like
either melts
bonds.
Or rips off your hand skin.
It's got to be some kind of like rubber cement with long dry time.
Or like have you seen like the mouse, the sticky pads for a mouse?
Yeah, but dude, I've gotten my finger on those.
Yeah, it's nothing, but it's like a human version of that.
Yeah.
And dude, when the hands, I thought they didn't like. Okay, that was out of all the things we saw, that was the most painful thing they showed.
Oh yeah,
to like actually go through in life, and then they didn't have her deal with that the rest of the time. That's what I want. That's one of my big complaints about horror movies too. Is just like that sort of. I feel like they hyperbolize stuff, and then they make people do stuff they'd never do in real life. Where I think it actually is scarier if you keep the weapon, but then these guys are just so bad it doesn't even help you, or your hands are so jacked up you're totally immobilized and you're helpless because you just peeled all the skin off your hands. I mean, the pain that would be, that they showed it as was so so intense.
That fresh, breezy air burn on your palms. Yeah, I was really surprised that like I don't know if they.
I'd rather get cut up with a razor blade on my arm
I don't know, dude.
than lose the skin on your hands. Hell yeah, dude.
I don't know, bro. I'm just so blade adverse. You know what I mean? Like I just can't do razor blades.
I get goosebumps and I get nasty thinking about that. One time I was at a movie theater. I was a kid and there's these like goth girls sitting down 2 rows in front of me, and they were cutting each other back and forth with a razor blade, making themselves bleed. And you can do it where it doesn't really hurt.
Yeah.
It just draws
At all.
blood.
Yeah.
But it just
See,
real life horror.
It
freaks me out.
I had like played with knives and stuff like growing up where like I had cut myself.
The deep ones get.
I never deep cut myself, right? But I had cut myself and I was like, oh wow, that was easier than I thought it was going to be, and it doesn't hurt, and I should be careful. You know, and I can't tell you how many times that happened, right?
Right.
But I never had the courage to be emo. Like I could never do it, dude. I was just too like if you gave me like a straight up just tanto blade like SOG knife, I could cut myself with that pretty easy. It's just the way razor blades look.
Dude, they're gross.
I'm just like, I can't fucking put that on my skin. Are you kidding me, you psychopath? But anyways, that was pretty good. I think the other big anxiety one was when she's opening the house. And I felt my blood pressure shoot through the roof because I kept on expecting some kind of fucking ball of razor blades to pop out of the little house that she was cranking the wheel on.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? I was like, this house looks sharp.
It was like it was like Elf from Hell. The scene with Will Ferrell.
Yeah.
Like with the Jack in the Box. It was that scene, but from hell.
It was well used though, because it didn't feel. It didn't make me go like.
That was probably the only.
Oh god, this thing so corny. I just saw it and I was like, this is used a lot, but this feels scary.
Yeah.
Like this feels scary.
And I don't think there was any jump scenes in the whole thing. Like
there's. Did you listen to it with headphones?
Yeah.
Really? Good headphones? Like well, okay. Because I felt like there was sound jump scares.
There were some sound jump
scares. I
scares.
didn't see like visual jump scares as much.
Yeah, so they did sound stuff, but that's what I think the Jack in the Box was the only one that was like they did like a couple maybe false ones, you know.
Yeah. I think the thing that actually got me the most like I recognized, I was like, damn, wow, I really jumped at that. Was just a door opening.
Oh yeah.
And it wasn't even one of the ones like there's a guy jiggling the door on the other side. It was literally like just a door opened, and it was so loud and jarring in my ears, like headphone wise. Not painful loud, but just like oh fuck, what was that? I did love I thought it was the perfect amount of time they spent with the camera zooming in on the door, like dollying in, because
on which door?
Right, the door that the shotgun's behind.
Oh yeah.
Because right before that door blows open, as is dollying in, I was just like, right at the last second, I was like, that's newer wood. And then it blew open from the shotgun blast. And I was like, that was a cool touch. Like, I like that. But I think overall, like, there was just some things that felt like a kind of mess of like intentions.
Yeah,
it still worked. Don't get me wrong, especially the ending, man. Let's talk about the ending. How many horror movies just fucking drop the ball at the ending? Just absolutely drop the ball at the ending and try to go Friday the 13th or Nightmare on Elm Street.
It's not over yet.
Yeah, and they give the villain one more huzzah, you know, something like that. And for me, I was afraid they were going to do that. And they went the opposite direction with it, where they were like, excuse me. They're like, see, it was important that they stopped to try to kill every one of these guys because the one that got away from the flyer can track down where they live and he's going to get her. Yeah. And I was like, I get that made it important then, because when Nathan went back with the baseball bat to try to hit that dude with the gun, I was like, dude, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah,
just jump
get
over the
out
fence.
of there. Go.
Zig and zag, bro. You're going to be fine.
And
there's no way this guy's going to one-hand revolver shoot you.
And then he left his bat.
Yeah, he left his bat on the ground. And probably didn't even fucking kill that guy.
And didn't take the gun.
He should have fucking brained that dude. And it was like such a...
Oh, no, he did, though, because he killed him because they just really showed him, like, be like, I am a baseball player, the way he hit him.
Yeah.
Because he'd lost his baseball career and he got to prove himself with that last home run smackarine.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
that's why he was dead.
That's why the way the camera angle was, like, it was like, oh, that would have gone out of the park. And it was lame.
It was such a half-ass swing. Like, I mean, not a half-ass swing, but like just the way the guy's like head like swings to the side. It didn't like, you were like, I could tell. I was like, that guy's not dead.
Yeah.
That guy's gonna wake up with a broken jaw.
He's still gonna come after you.
Yeah. Well, anyways, and that was the ending, right? Is like she's prepped. She's aware that they're coming for her, that one guy, and she ends it. She ends it, and there's gonna be no more.
Yep.
There's no room for a sequel. It's over.
Yep.
And she ended it. And so with that, I liked it. I thought the ending was great.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the movie as a whole. I think it's a movie that is definitely worth, if you think you're a horror guru, watch it on your own late at night, bitch. Fucking double dog dare you, dude. And if you do it, tell me. I'll fucking Venmo you $1. I'll do it, dude. If you were able to watch it alone at night in the dark without anything distracting you, no phone distracting you, just watch the movie for the 90 minutes it runs, and by the end of it, if you send me Venmo requests saying wasn't scared, dog, fine, I'll send you a buckaroo. But I'm gonna bet you're gonna get scared at some point.
Yeah, we'll send you $1 and a reference to a counselor.
Yeah, no kidding. I thought of the horror films out there, it's above average for sure in my book, and I think acting bad, premise confusing, and just that it wasn't committed. Subtext of abuse and overcoming it, sure, good enough,
right?
Good enough.
Yeah.
I kept on forgetting about it until there was a flashback, and I was like, oh yeah, that's right. There has to be a message. But overall, at the end of the movie, did I think that gave me what I wanted out of it? And I thought, yes, I squirmed and I yelled and I laughed at my reactions.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's a good B level horror movie. Yeah. Because it's like, that's what it is, and they did a good enough job with it to do what it's supposed to do. Yep. Everybody knows what they're getting into with one of those. So
I'm gonna give it a thumb up. I'm gonna give it one thumb up purely because I know from now on, if someone starts talking mad shit about, man, fucking horror movies don't scare me, I'll be like, all right, how about you watch Haunt, bro? No, we're not watching Haunt with all these ladies, because that ain't the type of movie. If you Billy Badass, watch Haunt on your own, and I think you'll get scared, bro. I think you'll come back and be like, yeah, man, that one kind of fucked me up a little bit.
And what about watching? We should make people watch horror movies in the middle of a warehouse.
That'd be bitching.
Like, dude, like where it's like, because it's one thing to be in your room, but another thing to be like, make them watch it in a church. Dude,
horror movies in church scare the piss out of me.
When there's nobody at the church building, it's scary, bro. That's
when you realize it's just a building. It ain't no holy ground, dude. It's just a building.
Or it is, and that makes it scarier.
Yeah, maybe. I feel like the times where I've watched scary movies at church, I've been way more scared.
Oh yeah, dude, it's
so creepy.
It gets you.
What are you gonna give it, Pat? I give it one thumb up, just purely because I know it is one that I don't have a hesitation recommending. For you get what you want. You want to be scared. You want to cringe. You want to squirm.
Yeah.
You want to enjoy these characters dying. Hey, here's a good one.
Yeah, I'd give it a one thumb up in that sense as well. And as far as those, these horror movies go, because it wasn't, there's so many just bad ones out there.
There's so many bad ones that also, like, they're bad and they also kind of deliver on the squirm.
But
like most of the Saw movies are bad. Like there's maybe 2 of them that I felt like I enjoyed and would consider rewatching with someone if they really wanted to watch them. The rest of the Saw movies are dog shit. And like you squirm, but you're never like, man, that was what the doctor ordered.
Yep, I agree. The 2 thumbs here.
Yeah, so 2 thumbs for Haunt from the Mick Pat Brews and Reviews. Brief little bit of goofs. Characters' phones are being checked before destroyed. The first phone said Monday, November 20th, which is not the day after Halloween. And the rest of them said November 1st. So that was one little goof. The other one I noticed that was kind of standing out to me, which made me feel like it was just not clear communication from director to actor. But when Nathan is shot by the guy chasing after them when they're trying to get over the fence, the squib for the blood goes off center of his chest.
Just dead.
Like just center sternum.
Yeah.
It's a 357, I bet.
Dead.
Your spine's broken.
Yeah.
And your sternum's collapsed into your lungs. Like you're not like stepping and getting one last swing. You're just done.
Yeah.
But the next cut shows Nathan with the shot to his like lower right ribs.
Yeah, just kind of like, maybe a little liver shot.
But then it shows him limping, holding his left hand on his like lower left abdomen.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, pick a side, dog. Someone tell this guy what to hold.
Yeah, hold the blood.
Yeah. And then the masked guy that was trying to help Nathan and Harper, he was opening a chest and he said, I know they have a secret pistol here, secret gun. When he's shot by the other dude who had already gotten the gun, the other masked guy, that guy is, excuse me, that guy is behind Harper and Nathan. And he has to shoot past them to hit this dude in the head.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, why the fuck didn't you just put 2 shots in the back of their heads and then kill this guy for betraying you? Whatever. It just didn't make any sense to me. That felt like a huge writing goof. But those are the only ones that really stood out for me. What you got? What you got for trivia, Pat?
Yeah. So it was a $5 million budget to make this movie. Made $2.4 million at the box office.
Can't even believe it went to box office.
Yeah, so $5 million. I guess it was pre-COVID, but I mean, as far as quality goes, no. But but the so a $5 million budget. That's like basically to make a feature film. Like typically, the lowest you're going to start at is like $2 million.
Yeah.
Not like besides your like indie like Napoleon Dynamites that like just hit it big or whatever. Like starting at $2 million, and then really $10 million is like your next like level up. So they're sitting down there kind of they're funded, not that funded. And the Damien who plays the devil also provided the voice for the dad.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So that scene where she's under the bed and the dad's talking and the devil's coming to get her, it's the same guy.
That makes sense.
But it's funny.
I mean, that's just a good choice from the directing point.
It is, except for the devil guy changes his voice. So like the devil guy talks like Batman with syrup in his mouth.
Yeah, he's clearly into it. He clearly thinks he is some kind of beyond her guy.
Yeah.
And then he gets fucking stabbed in the eye. He's like, and like you can tell, like the voice in the beginning is not his real voice.
Like, oh, that's an actor.
His beginning voice is like,
yeah.
Let's take off that face.
Yeah. And so poke in the eye. He's like, oh fuck.
So yeah, it's like it's probably like it makes it more deep to use him as the dad's voice.
Yeah,
but his voice was never heard the same way. So, the whole haunted house was in a dairy factory. Little piece of trivia there.
Yeah.
And that's all I got.
Hey, one last thing I noticed. The guy who was like, I didn't kill anybody. I was just following orders, just trying to do what they told me to do. Please don't hurt me. I want to get out. He was the guy, his mask, him. He was the one cutting the rope, trying to drop the knives on her.
Oh.
Yeah.
So he
fucker.
So he was just unsuccessful.
Yeah.
At being bad.
But he was going to kill her.
Yeah.
He was trying.
But did he know what it was going to do?
I mean, she put it together, that rope to knife wall, kill me.
But what I did love was it's like, listen, if you're planning on killing a bunch of people, sharpen your stuff up, bro. That machete, he's sitting there.
Hey, have you ever tried to saw a rope with a straight blade? It doesn't saw. You know what I mean? He should have been chopping at that thing.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah.
And so It was just funny, but and it obviously built suspense. It's like, everything in horror movie.
I just don't get why I kept on thinking she'd be like, wait a second, rather than trying to get out,
yeah,
let me just yank one of these knives down and I'll just fucking stab him.
Well, that's the thing. It's horror movie rules.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, a room full of weapons. Not going to grab one of those.
Dude, exactly. I thought that out loud. I was like, room full of weapons I can use.
I'd be hiding those all over my body.
Oh my God, there's sharp objects everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I was like, this is
I'm
the difference of
surprised
Predator or Prey.
when she dove through that knife wall, though, that she didn't like grab her whip on the way out. Like,
Indy.
Oh yeah, dude. It was all, she got out of there like freaking in Professor Jones. It was great.
I was hoping there'd be a banana peel sound effect, like, anyways, Haunt 2019 gets 2 thumbs up here at the Mick Pat show.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for joining us, Ken. We appreciate you taking the time. And, the issue is that I love horror movies, but I've seen so many that honestly, Pat, I'm just going to have to probably suck it up and rewatch some with you. So that way we continue to kind of get some nice relevant ones, because I watch them pretty quickly as they come out. But out there, Ken, if you have any horror movies you recommend, horror movies that you think are just as scary as Hereditary, I'm trying to think of a couple other ones that spooked me and unsettled me so much they hung with me for a while. I think Smile and It Follows were ones that really unsettled me for a couple days afterwards.
Days. It's brutal.
Oh, dude, yeah, like horror movies that you just think about. What about you, Pat? Any last ones that you could think of to kind of qualify the horror movies you'd take time out of your day to watch?
Man, honestly, I'm only gonna watch these for the listeners. Like I'm gonna. If you want me to set up a camera on the TV going back at my face, and you can watch me watch the movies, I'll do it,
dude. I think you're acting tough on the podcast, because I know when we recorded those YouTube horror movie watch throughs, you were scared piss.
Sometimes it gets me.
Dude, you were a scared guy. Anyways,
who knows?
Thanks for joining us, Ken. Appreciate you. And until next time.
Thanks for tuning in. If you love this episode, drop us a review. If you have qualms or comments, leave us a voicemail on our website. While you're there, check out our latest news, merch, and deals from our sponsors. Till next time, Ken.